Hello everyone and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto YouTube Charts video. I am No FOMO Charts. Today's Sunday, July 13, 2025. It's almost 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the USA. Earnings season in the USA for the stock market has officially started and begun. It's going to be a big week. This week we have companies such as JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, all reporting corporate earnings, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Taiwan Semiconductor, Netflix, Pepsi, just to name a few. Economic data, inflation this week as well. CPI, core CPI, PPI, core PPI, retail sales, core retail sales, unemployment claims, some FOMC member speeches, also consumer sentiment and expectations. Some of the recent news, besides stock market earnings season, is really officially beginning this week. President Trump in the USA has added additional tariffs on multiple countries that will begin apparently on August 1st. It's not clear if these are going to be permanent or temporary tariffs, but these are the numbers. 20% China all imports, 10% Canadian potash and energy, 25% all Mexico imports and other Canadian imports, 25% tariff on automobiles with certain exemptions, 50% tariff on steel and aluminum, 50% tariff on copper imports, 10% minimum tariffs on most other countries, etc. And potential trade deals, trade negotiations could take place during that time as well. Cryptocurrency volatility increased as Bitcoin broke out above new all-time high prices. Just beautiful to see. And I found a lot of potential chart setups. Let's look at those today in this video. So we have SPY, resistance, QQQ, hood, AMD, all printing a potential double top resistance. We have support plays for Walmart, Kraft Heinz, AMC, and GameStop. And then we have downtrending pullbacks or potential crashes in CRWV, Circle, BMNR, and quantum computing. So let's take a look at those. SPY, S&P 500, the daily chart. We're still in this uptrend, however, most recently, probably because earnings are starting, we printed a double top right below 626, 626 double top temporary. So it's really dependent on earnings. If the earnings for the next 1 or 2 weeks are all bad, it's probably going to pull back the price anywhere to 613 to 606 area in the blue support zone below. You can see we're just about touching that support trend line right now. We're still in a golden cross. We have to make it through these earnings. We still have the golden cross right now on an EMA crossover, 5,200. However, the lower side trend line, right, has not been tested significantly, and the pivot point of 606 to 613 area for EMA support. That's where we're at right now. QQQ printed also just a very temporary looking double top. Remember, anybody, I'll use an anchored VWAP. This is the left tool in the toolbar. I click a low spot and I have it set up for 3 standard deviations. But the blue line is the actual anchored VWAP line, meaning the average volume weighted price. Volume weighted average price. And it's anchored, meaning it starts from the time and date that I select. So anybody who bought after April 22nd for NASDAQ is green right now, profitable. So having a small pullback down to 541 is reasonable. That's the first upper band of the anchored VWAP here. For easy reference, 541. That's my downside target. That's also around the 20 SMA point, but we have a temporary double top. That's all I'm going to say. Hood as well, Robinhood. You know, this is the greatest stock right now in terms of stock exchange plays. So my old idea on, I'll just leave it up. My old idea I printed on TradingView, I was talking about these small pullbacks, okay, of 4 to 8%, which definitely they did happen, small shorting. But once I get a larger signal like we might be having right now, this could just be temporary hesitation, double top right around $99. So if we cannot go above $99 on Robinhood, I can see another set of volatility coming back, possibly pulling back to 95 or 92. Now, for all these resistance setups, earnings can flip and change everything, right? Because if I think about the scenario, if all earnings are green and good for finance and tech, it's probably going to keep rallying. It's just whoever bought in April is probably selling a little bit right now just to protect their profits and principal on the investment. AMD with the 5200 EMA up cross, still in this uptrend. But in terms of candle body wicks, there's a very, very temporary resistance at 147. So that's the upper resistance. If we pull back, it could just be a small pullback to the gap fill down here around 141. So it's still good news. AMD was in a massive downtrend. So we have a golden cross. This is good. This is good in the long term. Walmart, potential support zone level. This is not a really perfect setup, but support zone triggered for me around $94. So there is trouble up here on the triple top. So it could become a consolidation play. Now, if the price breaks down below $93, then we might be in trouble here because there could be a measured move of negative 6%, most likely negative 3% halfway if we do not recover. Now, this could also be a nice consolidation play. It depends on what happens here. What I'm really looking for is a little bit of confirmation in terms of a hammer candle or a double bottom to see if we're going to go up or not on Walmart. Kraft Heinz has been on my watch list for some time now, but it looks like there could be a possible upside down head and shoulders before earnings. It's a little dirty looking because it could turn into a double top at the end here. But if it happens to break bull, it could go 5% to about $28, or it could go 10% long term to about $30 range. Something I'm watching out for. If it happens to fail and cancel down, it could go down to $26. So we get AMC. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If we're in a very strong uptrend and we're towards the top of the range, like we are with SPY right now, SPY or QQQ, usually when that happens, then all the laggard plays, all the late plays are happening now around the same time. So anybody coming really, really late into the market right now, unfortunately, most of the Magnificent Seven stocks have rallied a lot, gold, silver up a lot. But if we think about meme stocks like GameStop, AMC, even MJ Cannabis, we saw Tilray with a massive rally sometimes. And then we're seeing crypto right now, like Bitcoin breaking out, right? So those four categories usually happens when the market's high. So that's why I'm taking this with a potential grain of salt, meaning watch out, a little skeptical. But there's multiple signals here. There's potential upside down head and shoulders. There's a double bottom on the daily. So if this is actually real, could go anywhere 20 to 40%, but it has to clear. This neckline doesn't really count for me because it's such a large spike. But let's just think of it as if we use a weekly, then you could see it a little more clearly, right? It has to really clear above 360 to get people really excited. But if this is real, this could be a massive kind of short squeeze bounce. Even on a monthly, it could turn into monthly upside down head and shoulders and this large double bottom. So there's all of this open range up here that could happen, but just in case, because it's a meme stock, if we happen to crash, we crash back down to $3. But this is something I'm actually watching very closely. GameStop as well. GameStop, golden cross having to bounce above support. On the daily chart, it's just holding above the $22 or $23 support level. This is a very volatile name, but sometimes when it rallies, it could go 50% or 25%. So the ATR, average true range, for a daily move is about $1. So if we doubled that, there's about 10% risk on GameStop right now. That's what I'm watching. Now, NEGG, sorry, this is going to trigger massive FOMO with people. But the reason why I want to bring this up and why I have this new indicator on the top right corner, which is a free custom indicator, which I like. There's a quick shout out. This is free on TradingView. It's called Stock Data. Where's the author? It's called Stock Data. Here, let me just bring it up on the Stock Data by Valpetrad table. And I modified, I customized, I turned off some data fields here. I just wanted to see shares outstanding and shares float to point out to people that all stocks are not the same. Quick education. Shares float is essentially, paraphrasing, the amount of shares available for public trading that retail investors and anybody, traders, can, specifically public exchanges, can trade. Shares outstanding up here, this first number, is the amount of shares that are actually available in existence on Earth, basically, for the company. But the shares float is the actual tradable amount of shares available. So NEGG, even though it had a massive short squeeze, and this is the true meme stock rally of going 200% in just 3 weeks or 1 month, it's because the shares float and available is less than 500,000, total number of shares. That's micro cap stock size. Okay, so NEGG is not the same as Shopify, right? Shopify has 1.2 billion shares float available for trading. That's why this is not going up and down like this on the chart. So it's very, very important that people, and for myself, when we're looking at stock trades and stock charts, that I'm not ignoring this number. Volume is extremely important. Volume is extremely important. I would say price as well. Price and volume are extremely important. Most people never talk about the shares float and shares outstanding. Shares float can, and share amount of shares that are short percentage. This data is found on a different platform outside of TradingView. That all matters because NEGG was a heavily shorted company, like 100% short. So somebody got destroyed, unfortunately, and got short squeezed out, and retail just jumped on this as fast as possible. So what I'm seeing here on pivot point resistance, we hit that R5. I'm using a Fibonacci pivot setting, R5 here. It's way outside of Bollinger Band zone. It's way outside of linear regression. So I will not be surprised if at some point this just crashes back down like 50%. So just watch out on NEGG. Watch out. It could keep going higher as well, but I'm just saying, the price, even for myself, to manage my FOMO or manage my own emotions, which happens to me sometimes too. When you look at a chart like this, honestly, I want to buy some, but then I understand high, low. Maybe I'll wait for the next higher low if this thing crashes, for example. BMNR, which used to be the greatest crypto stock play. This is what I'm saying. If you look at the shares float, a couple days ago, the shares float was only 2 million. If we look at the TradingView, shares float is 4.75 million. So right now, 5 million shares float. Or maybe I got it mixed up, but it was something low like that, microcap. So the fact that BMNR, yes, we had this beautiful run of 3,000%, but after we got a doji candle and a lower high in the price, some professional traders essentially came in and shorted this down thing, shorted down the price to oblivion. Even if I put an anchored VWAP up here and try to find the average price of the volume weighted average price, since the IPO, basically, we're below that. So there's something definitely wrong with this stock. Now, in terms of where are the targets that it could go to, the pivot point is way down here at 25. Now, I might play this only if there's massive momentum and whoever's shorting this will actually let go and cover their position. Then we might get more significant bounces rather than just like 20%. Okay, so here, this is like a textbook case Literal textbook of volatile penny stock play on a 1 hour. Looks dangerous, right? It was uptrending. And then we had the symmetrical triangle. We had multiple symmetrical triangles, which are measure moves. We can measure it. It'd be 50% down. And exactly what happened. It went 50, 60% down. So sometimes when it gets too high, like 3,000% high, you got to get out of there or just pass. This is not baseball where I have to swing on every pitch, essentially, right? It's what Warren Buffett taught us. As investors, I could keep passing on companies and charts forever until I find the perfect company and chart, right? So it's just one way I deal with emotions or whatever I'm feeling. If it's volatile and I'm not in the position, I just walk away. I do this. I turn the chart off. I do that. I just turn the chart off. Turn my computer off. If I have no positions on, go do something else in my life, right? So that's one way I deal with it. But if I'm in a position or I want to buy it, if I'm in the position, for me, it's very dangerous to be holding that down because we don't know if it's going to go up or not. But if I'm looking to get into a trade, for example, there is 1 hour massive, large bullish momentum that's happening on the charts. It's a matter of time once it bottoms out. But I would like to see a better evidence of this bottoming out. And this applies to all stocks that looks like this. I want to see double bottom. I want to see upside down head and shoulders. I want to see uptrend reversal. I want to see, short squeeze or do something. Because now anybody who's late to this is going to get caught. It's already 65% down from the breakdown spot. Anyone shorting this is kind of late. But this is a crypto stock that, unfortunately, it was a great idea. Just, I guess the shares flow what made it a target in the market. Pretty sad. I wanted to see BMNR go to like 300 or something. That would have been nice. Okay, next. CRWV. Okay, so you can see the psychology. Let me make this smaller. What's the float on CRWV? 270 million, under 300 million with daily average volume of 23 million. So 10% of the stock approximately is getting traded every day. Now, I did not long this because I saw head and shoulders. I traded something else. I shorted QUBT, so I'll explain that later. But we have this going down 20%. Now, the only reason I'm bringing it up is I don't like showing people downtrends, but it's getting close to a anchored VWAP spot, which is 120. The 50% Fibonacci retrace is 108. 618 is $90. And then the lower band of the VWAP is 80. So if it gets to any of these levels, I'm looking for potential tactical little day trade, but it has to go down 25%. So it has to go down like 115. If it gets down to like 77, then it's going to start getting interesting to me because we're below the pivot point. That's bad news. Okay, Circle. Unfortunately, Circle, we had a little short squeeze and then bounced 20%, but it's still, the momentum is the money's rotating out of IPOs. We're rotating into crypto, maybe rotating into short squeeze plays, meme stocks, or people are just taking their profit and getting out before earnings. So that trend line support has been lost. This is turning into a descending triangle daily play. So I'm watching for the 50%. I like putting up an anchor VWAP, just gives me an average. So we bounced off the anchor VWAP. We're testing it again. 182 is the anchor VWAP in the blue line, but the 50% fib, 167, 140, and then 114. I'm looking at those levels, but because it's not a strong uptrend, I'm not that excited. I'm not that excited to do it. And it needs more time as well. The last one, just to show QUBT, remember, I just want to let people know that I was telling people about this double top here, so I shorted that. Actually closed already. That's just me. I don't really do really long-term trades for shorting just because statistically, from what I've seen, unless it's a really bad company that has no fundamentals, sometimes it bounces and I just want to close early. All right, let's go to crypto and then we'll end. I know this video is going long. Bear with me here. It's because we're about to enter into such a big volatile period of earnings that I can't just do SPY in Bitcoin. That would be a little bit too not detailed enough. Okay, crypto. Total. Now, crypto had a beautiful play. Total market cap on crypto. We had this upside down head and shoulders. What was that target on the entire market? About 8%. We definitely hit that target. Now, short-term traders are taking their profit right now, but it's not extreme. We're taking a short-term hesitation because we're entering right into earnings season. Bitcoin as well, we had this breakout. Remember on TradingView, I was saying we're having a breakout test. We're in a short-term uptrend in a breakout test. So I longed Bitcoin, I longed crypto in the money right now. Yes, maybe I didn't capture enough down here, but I did say on my stream maybe a couple weeks ago, Morningstar and a breakout. So I just want to tell people that I am calling out these setups as they happen, and each trader investor is responsible for their own account and their own actions and their own funds. This is not financial advice. It's just chart analysis. So in terms of the 10%, we hit the first 10% in the target. We're still in the golden up cross. It's beautiful. Now, I do want to show something that I don't really show. Let's put an anchor VWAP since the tariff bottom scare, April 8th. This is the thing. Anybody who bought Bitcoin after April 11th is in the money right now, at least a little bit, right? Somebody could just be up 10%, 5%, but anybody bought Bitcoin since May is up like 30%. So we're not going to immediately sell and get rid of our position, but as investors, but we know that traders will try to attack this down just because the intraday oscillators are probably overbought. So just understand that as a long-term, I'm a medium-term trader, but in terms of long-term hodlers, they're just going to keep holding, right? Let's go rapid fire down the altcoins. Ethereum, beautiful, finally had that breakout. And remember, sometimes crypto, it takes time to reverse into an uptrend, right? So this is high, low, high. This is one giant high, higher low. So then I expect, we're going next higher high, rebuy as a swing trader. XRP as well had a nice uptrend reversal that I was hinting at. And remember, 2 weeks ago, I was saying I like, especially on remember what I said? Dogecoin. So I'm in this. Dogecoin, weekly double bottom, beautiful play, made 20%. Cardano as well. Remember I was saying could have bullish momentum, and then what happens just a couple weeks later? 30%. The biggest play, XLM, beautiful. It's like a perfect textbook double bottom. So that's why, sorry to somebody if somebody missed this and they're angry about it right now, but at the same time that's trading. Got to get in there before everybody else does. Got to get in as low as possible with crypto. When we have a pullback on XLM, 60% off, it's like going to a store and an iPhone is $600 off. Metaphor, right? Or food, something's 50% off. Most people like those kind of discounts. So when I was looking at the charts, 500 charts in the past 1 or 2 weeks, altcoins are the only charts that look low because it crashed. All these IPOs and Circle and CoreWeave, it's already like 200% up. BMNR is crashing, so what else is left? There's only altcoins. SHIB as well, nice play. HBAR had a really nice strong play as well. Not every crypto, Hype, wish I could buy Hype, but it's not on my exchange. So that's why you just got to buy some cryptos, and I'm in it for the long term. It's just the risk right now is, the summary is, if NASDAQ crashes, okay, if earnings are bad in the next 2 to 4 weeks, I might see some pullback in crypto. But I'm just saying, if Bitcoin can survive this earnings season and we break out to continued all-time highs, 130, 140, 150, because it looks like people got short squeezed down, kicked out of their positions, then I'm saying longer term, the altcoins have a chance here. You could see even Dogecoin still has a little bit more room to go. What happened on Stellar and HBAR, still, XLM, right? You can see this, excuse me, the cleanest W went 35%, and we go for 25% more from the breakout, right? So when I see this, I'm like, okay, first target, we go 50%, and maybe we could go 40, 50 more percent. Maybe the long-term target on Doge is 33 cents to 46 cents. And on some of these coins, some of these hit like rock bottom, right? Like Ethereum Classic, I remember saying, ooh, this is like a rock bottom support level. So I bought some Ethereum Classic. See, it's all about playing support. Yes, no one cared about crypto for about a couple months on some of these altcoins, but once it hits some kind of low here, I'm putting on risk. I might not say it on every stream, but I'm like, okay, saying I see support level here. If I'm going to buy, great. And then I'm holding for, let's say, 6 months or longer, and try to target reasonable levels, 25, 50, 75, 100%. And if it's massive, 500%, then we have just great investment time. So thank you for watching. Today was a little more casual, but I wanted to just show a lot more charts because there's a lot more going on in the market right now. So again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling people what to buy or sell. I'm showing what I'm doing, my own personal opinion on the charts, and my own style. Other people have totally different style, and that's 100% okay. Whatever works for people. This is what worked for me and how I'm able to stay profitable long-term as a trader and investor. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Hope you have a nice week. And remember, let's always manage that risk on whatever we're doing. Stocks especially, that crash a lot. Crypto, because Bitcoin's high, or altcoins. Just make sure we're managing our risk and not getting too emotional. Thank you. If you like this, if you learned something from this video, go ahead and click the subscribe button, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.